Hello and welcome to the fifth module of our growth hacking course. I hope you've enjoyed the content so far. In this module, we'll be talking about email marketing. So the learning objective for this module is to craft smart email campaigns and sequences that do one job well. And to show me that you've learned this, the project for this module is going to be getting email certified through HubSpot, crafting an email campaign, and creating an email automation. Some of the content that we'll cover in this video and the next videos: an overview of the email marketing landscape, discussion about how to send good email. We're going to cover direct and inbound marketing, lead generation, explain the difference between campaigns versus automations, and then we'll do a walkthrough of MailChimp, the primary tool we'll be using to create emails in this module. So again, here's the marketing landscape from beginning to end. Where does email fit here? Well, it fits in this channel type, and the channel specifically right here under email. You also find that email touches a number of different boxes in this landscape chart. So in terms of channel types, it can be display, it can be CRM, it can be word of mouth, people emailing each other. Channels themselves, it can be display. Sometimes there's advertising or banner ads within emails, or it can be pure and traditional email marketing. Tons of different targeting types, tons of different objectives, lots of different influence for email in Growth Hacking Toolbox. So before we get too deep into email, let's quickly review some of the concepts and the foundations for our course. So marketing is connecting a company with customers. And there's three different aspects within here. There's brand marketing, which tells the story of who you are, product marketing, which tells the story of what you sell, and growth marketing is how you sell it. And within growth marketing, there's a few different concepts. Growth marketing covers all the different ways you can grow your company. Some of the hallmarks of growth marketing are rapid experimentation and low-cost alternatives. When you think about growth marketing, you want to think about building and engaging your entire user base from beginning to end, and always be learning and improving and bringing those learnings back to get better and better. And in order to do that, you must measure, measure, measure. Here is the growth hacking cycle, the 6-step growth machine. You start with brainstorming, which then leads to hypothesis about what you think might move the needle for your company. You prioritize those hypotheses, begin to test the highest priority ones. That will then allow you to analyze the data, which you can then use to iterate and improve, and go back into the brainstorm stage. And the loop spins and spins. Now, let's begin with an email marketing overview. First and foremost, do not underestimate the power of email marketing. I'm going to share some really cool stats with you here in a moment that show just how powerful this channel truly is. So email marketing drives more conversions than any other marketing channel, including search, which we'll get to in the next module, and social, which we talked about in the previous module. Email is 40 times more effective at acquiring new customers than either Facebook or Twitter. You are 6 times more likely to get a click-through from an email campaign than you are from a tweet. Over 80% of small businesses rely on email marketing as a primary acquisition channel. This is a stat I love. For every $1 you spend on email marketing, you can expect an average return of $42. You won't find that in any other channel in the marketing landscape. 9 out of 10 marketers use email marketing to distribute their content, so it's truly a go-to channel for folks. So knowing all this about email is powerful, it returns at really high rates, it's efficient and effective. How do you send a good email? There's a few different tactics that make sense to try. So here's your inbox. Step 1, for your email to be effective, it has to arrive in the inbox. That means not in a spam folder, and it means not in a promotions tab. And in order to do that, there are some specific words you can look to avoid that spam filters tend to catch, whether it's free or giveaway or urgent. And then with the promotions tab, the more your email looks like a promotion, so a lot of fancy language, a lot of fancy graphics, something that looks like it's trying to sell, sell, sell. Gmail in particular is really savvy about recognizing those emails and filtering them into promotions tabs. If you think about the types of messages that typically end up in a primary tab, it's often messages from a friend or a colleague or a mom or a dad. It's these very conversational and personal emails. Oftentimes, brands and companies can replicate that in their messaging, or they can keep that in mind as they're crafting the marketing message and tone down the graphics and the sales pitches in order to arrive at the primary inbox. The next thing to consider when sending a good email is, who is it from? You'll see that this appears on the left-hand side of your inbox. And oftentimes, this is one of the best indicators of whether someone is wanting and willing to open an email. Do you recognize the name there? Is it someone that you trust, someone that you know? Is it a brand name that you trust or that you know? Oftentimes, what brands will try to do is to put the person's first name who is sending it in the from name rather than the brand name itself. Or you might try a combination of it. I might be Kevin from Society for Ideas, and that could be the from name, rather than the whole brand name or my whole name, a combination of the two. Typically, the more personal the from name, the better the odds are that someone will recognize that name, respond well to that name, and open your email. Of course, the third step is write a great subject line. If you want to send a good email, it has to be compelling enough for someone to open it. Oftentimes, the from name will help get you into the door, then the subject line is really going to be what sells someone. So you can see subjects here. What I like to do with emails is to write 25 different subject lines before I send an email out, and I pick the best one from that list. It's very rarely the very first subject line I write. It's typically in the 10 to 15 range where they start to get better and better. At 25, they're not very good at all. But right in the middle there is the sweet spot. The more you write, the more creative energy you put into that subject line, the better returns you'll get on your email marketing. And then check the preview text. This is something that often goes unnoticed, but the preview text is another signal to someone that an email may be worth opening. It's simply more context on what you're about to get yourself into. And the preview text, depending on the email client that you're using, here in Gmail, it's the little gray text that appears next to the subject line. In other places, like on mobile device, in Hotmail, in Outlook, it might be any number of different appearances. But it does add that extra context to your subject. It gives you a bit more space to explain what the person is about to see in the email. So here are a couple examples. Here's an email from Squarespace. Is it a good email? I think more or less yes. As you'll notice, there is something up here in the preview text. That's one thing they could have done a little bit better. But overall, it has a great, catchy line here. The subject line is not spammy by any means. A clear button to click on. They ended up with a brand name for the from name, but since this is an automated email that arrives right after you sign up, you're likely to recognize Squarespace and not feel too overwhelmed by all the content that they're sending in email. The next one is from Redbox. Is this a good email? Well, they have one thing up on Squarespace. They have their preview text figured out. So that's one good thing they have going for them. Looking at the content of the email itself, there's a lot to look at here, a lot of images. This one may end up in a promotions tab just given the sheer amount and volume of imagery in this email. Look at the subject line as well. It's a little pushy, a little salesy. It may pass through the filters just fine, but it is a bit different than we had with the Squarespace email here. You can do the same test by looking through your own inbox and seeing what catches your eye and why. Is it the from name? Is it the subject line? Is it the preview text? It's probably not in your spam filter. Maybe it's in your promotions tab. So kind of understanding your own email behavior, understanding what resonates with you, that can help inform you how to create good email for your company. Another way that brands tend to do this is through A/B testing. And what this looks like for email is you send out an email with two different subject lines. A certain percentage of your recipients get one subject line, a certain percentage get the other subject line. You compare the results, which one performed better, and the remainder of your lists gets the winning variant. This is a testing method that's used all over the place with growth hacking. Email is a great spot for it. Websites is a great spot for it. A/B testing can give you a bit more confidence into which subject line, which from name, which content is going to perform best, allow you to maximize the results for your email send. So that covers how to send a good email. In the next video, we're going to dive deeper into some other aspects of email marketing, beginning with direct versus inbound. I'll see you there.